Love ATX events that we've had, we've had the Austin Time Exchange Network and Acts of Sharing. And these are both ways that are a bit more organized of, like, Austin Time Exchange is pretty much the same as trade. I mean, you're trading your time. Or you can just trade with people without counting the time. And then Acts of Sharing is a website where you can you sign up with an account, and then you put all of your things that you have that you're willing to share, and then people can share on there. The cool thing is, like, moving towards using these things is really a process for everyone to incorporate into their lives, to go say, like, okay, I'm going to go search for something on Acts of Sharing, because you could also just use Craigslist or Facebook. But the idea, the concept behind it of trade and sharing economies are very, very valuable, and this stuff kind of happens naturally whenever you live in community anyway. So then there's trade, and then build community, minimizing needs and consumption. So whenever I first started thinking, like, okay, what is the most important thing that I'm going to try to do with Love ATX, I was like, okay, we're going to attack consumption. Like, that's the answer. I got it. But, like, it's not that easy to just get everyone to stop buying stuff. I mean, ultimately, the more money that we stop moving, or like the less money that we continue to move, the systems will start to break, and they will have to fine tune or, be rebuilt in a way that works, because if you're not continuing to feed a broken system, it won't continue to go. So, like, our consumers' culture is a really huge thing that in some way we must overcome, and it's just like, if you understand why, then you can change your habits. But to change, everybody else in this whole country and around the world, that's a huge undertaking. So it's not actually as simple as just coming up with the idea. Supporting the local economy, so keeping the money local is huge, and it sometimes costs more money. But personally, I can't even afford to shop at Whole Foods, but I'll go spend $20 or $40 at the farmer's market just because I really want to support it and be a part of making that develop further. And then, of course, reuse. Like, anytime I need anything, I will go to a thrift store first, and then there's always Craigslist, and we have awesome communities growing in Austin. Like, Katie does her community soup nights, and yeah, like there's been different clothing swaps, and if you guys have heard of Austin Eco Network. Austin Eco Network I don't know, is it .com or .org? Oh yeah, Danielle should know. She used to work with them. .com. Okay, AustinEcoNetwork.com. Get on their email list, and you're likely to find out about any type of clothing swap, or really, it'll plug you into a sustainable community in Austin, which is amazing. So I just wanted to go over these quick points of the ways that, and really coming back to the consumption point, like, avoiding spending at all costs. Of course, you have to sometimes, but really just finding the difference between what you need and what you want, and then being creative about fulfilling whatever you need. I know that I have a lot of fun going to the Blue Hanger, which is the Goodwill on yeah, it's like down Montopolis, off some other road, I forgot what it's called. And I can always find some really cool stuff there. So the values that Love ATX goes by that are directed towards a holistic culture is local, healthy. So local is like keeping it local, keeping the money local. So that way it's really coming back and staying within the community, and then it feeds back into the community. That's ideal. That is where we're not getting raped. Is even though it costs more, in the long run, it's better for everybody to support local. And then healthy comes into the monetary into the monetary issue, in that we need money to take care of our health care, to take care of our bills, to go to the doctor. But if we are conscious of our health and we are taking care of our health, we're not so dependent on needing to have insurance and worrying about the bills to pay for your health. Creative is important in how it affects your limitations that you feel due to money, because actually Austin is so amazing for this. If you're creative, you can really figure out how to do a lot of things without money. And creative conscious is another value for Love ATX conscious. So living consciously, mindfully, and that kind of rolls into living sustainably too. So when we that's where community comes in as well. Just having a support of a community. I really couldn't speak to this before a year ago with experience, and now I can, and it's really cool. And it feels great to be able to say that I actually experience abundance through community, and it's real. It's really cool. So on that note, just really valuing what it is to have community, and make the time to build, to get out and build community and meet your neighbors, and also just coming to things like this where you can connect with other like-minded people and build community around these ideas, because it's really a challenge to think like, I'm going to change my whole lifestyle, but this is where we are. We're changing. This is the time for our evolution as a society and as a global society, but really a lot of the work is done by these smaller self-sustaining communities, and we all share that globally. So that means like changing if you're not part of a community, or you don't have like regular community, try it. And because it actually really does change your life. And I wanted to share all of this just to give you an idea of the approach and really the purpose of coming together. People kind of offered to like share information and to teach about certain ways about the system. I decided to keep that to the cartoon, and also I have a couple of links I put on this. Like The Money Fix is a really good documentary that actually goes more in depth into what the fractional reserve banking is, and how banks just basically create money when they give you a loan. It goes deeper into explaining the way the system works. For me personally, all I have to know is enough to know how broken it is, to think like, okay, well, I'm over that now. How do we create a new one, a new system, and remove the dependence on the centrally governed system as much as possible. So I wanted to open it up to just like anything that anyone would want to add, and this is really organic, and so far this is really cool. I really appreciate you guys just like hearing me speak, because I'm not really I didn't call you all here just so that I could speak to you, but I just wanted to kind of give you a feeling of the direction of how we're focusing more on actually being the change, doing it ourselves, because we could run around in circles a long time, like protesting and just getting really deep into the details of how screwed up everything is. But I really would like to use this energy here and to think of really awesome creative ways to you know, get more people involved and seeing how we can support a more sustainable way of exchanging aside from the monetary system. There's also something called the mutual credit system, and it's something that's introduced in the Money Fix film towards the end. I contacted them and they haven't emailed me back, but I'm interested in bringing, I know that we've had local dollars before, but I'm interested in bringing the mutual credit system to Austin, and I'm also inquiring with them about whether or not they have like apps and you know, just like meaning cell phone apps and maybe cards and things like that, so that this is a mutual credit system that is so simple that it's even hard to explain, because literally it's just like mutual. I give you a credit, and so now I have a debit, and that's all. There's no interest, and there's just nothing else to it. It's just literally like you give for one and you take one. And that's how the mutual credit system works. So I definitely believe that that's the way that we can move into.